Nice to see you again. Come on, sit down, sit down.
Thank you so much.
Cliff Richard. Wow. God, you still have whatever it is you still have,
Yeah, and I've had it a long time.
haven't you? God, you're still rocking 100 albums. Extraordinary achievement.
Well, it is, but I didn't know it was the 100 when we went to Nashville to make the record. You know, when you make a record, you don't count the ones you've done. You
Yes.
don't even think about it.
Yeah.
It was only when I got back and they were talking about promoting the album, and my office rang me and said, "We think this is your 100th album."
Right.
So I said, "Well, you better check it out before I start showing off about it.
Yeah.
If it's not true, I'd rather not talk." But it is the 100th.
It's in there. I can't look at those shoes. Give us a look at that. That's rock and roll right there.
Do you recognize the red soles?
Are they Louboutin? Is that what
They're Louboutin.
They're
Oh, sorry,
Louboutin
what happened?
sneakers.
Feedback.
Yeah,
They're
good.
Louboutin, yeah.
Congratulations.
I only spend this kind of money on a shoe if it's on a budget.
Yes.
A showbiz budget.
On your budget, you've got.
Well, you know, if you're doing a show, they give you a budget to dress yourself and
Yeah.
everybody else.
Yeah.
And I usually spend most of the money on my clothes.
Listen, can I talk to you about the calendar that you do every year? Because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
such a hit. It's another year, another calendar.
Yeah.
People love love you on their wall every month of the year.
It's become a slight pressure.
Has it?
Well, because I don't know how else to smile or how else to
Hey,
sit.
let's look at some. Okay, here's one. Here's Cliff in. You're kind of. What are you doing there?
Well,
Kind
that's
of-
the new one.
Yeah.
That was a Nashville shot. Because I was doing the album, it looks like I'm kind of on the road with my guitar on the railway track. It's very American.
Yeah, it's like The Littlest Hobo, you know, at the end where you're kind of walking down, or The Incredible Hulk. Let's have a look at the second one then. It gives you a bit more.
Now, that's the main street in Nashville.
Great.
It's a buzzy sort of place with bars and music blasting out everywhere, and we just took a chance
A lot
to
of
get
fun.
that.
Take another one there. And
Yeah.
how's your. And that's like Dukes of Hazzard almost.
Well, it's a Dukes of Hazzard type. I've done that kind of shot before. And again, I don't. I'm running. Anybody got any ideas? Let
For
me
smiles.
know. But
For-
I just like.
Take another one.
It's just whether the picture looks all right. I think it looks
That's
all
nice.
right.
That's good. Hitching a lift.
There's me hitching a lift. That's the
That's it.
kind of thing we did when I was. It was 4 or 5 years ago.
Yes, once upon a time. And we've got one more then with feeling and just to see. And then that's the denim shot.
Yeah, denim's always been a rock and roll image for some reason.
Yeah.
Although when you think about it, when Elvis first started, it was gold lame.
Yeah.
But then when people they started saying to me, we've got to get more realistic, and suddenly they wanted me to wear denim. And I like denim, you know, but personally, I'd rather look like this.
Hey! Oh, what about this?
What?
This one. We love this one. It's kind of a bit last year, but look at that. Well, that's Buff Richard there.
Well, you know, the calendar before this one,
Yeah.
the guy said to me, do you mind getting into bathers and coming out the pool? I get a shot of you coming out the pool. So he said, just come up, turn and smile. So I turned and smiled. He happened to get a real good shot, and he said, this one's going to make all the papers, and sure enough, it did.
Yeah.
You know, and now every time I go, they said, okay, which shot do you want to take your shirt off? I said, I'm not.
No.
That one was a bit of a fake because I wore the sort of the life jacket.
But was that a body double?
Not body double?
Was that the real you?
Of course, it's the real me.
But
I
how-
work really hard at that.
Do you?
Well, I do the gym. I can't get like Arnie Schwarzenegger. Of course I can't. I don't have the testosterone. You know, I'm 50 now, and it's difficult. So I just work at getting some kind of lines and definition.
Yeah.
And so I work out. I play when I'm in Portugal. I play tennis Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, and in between I do the gym.
So you really are. Are you a fitness freak in the sense that you love it, or you don't overdo it?
I love the tennis. The tennis is so
Yeah, you've
easy
always
to
been
do.
mad about tennis.
I get a lot of exercise by playing with a pro. They make me run all over the place. I
Yeah.
sweat. Breathing gets good. But the gym, I have to force myself to
Yeah.
go. And someone gave me a tip. If any of you do the gym and don't like it, what you have to do is have your gym clothes out there ready in the morning.
Yes.
And you put them on so that you think, I've got to go to the gym. I've got my gym clothes on.
Yeah. So
I do that.
You're ready for action.
Yeah.
You dabbled in Botox for a while, but then you gave that up. Is that right?
Yeah, but it worked so well. I had it all over the body.
So why did you stop
No,
it?
I stopped because, well, I found, I think Botox does work for a lot of people.
Yeah,
a lot
sure.
of people do it. But I found when they put it here, my eyebrows seemed to drop.
Right.
And I didn't like the look. It looked like I was scowling all the time. So I tried really hard to smile like this.
Yeah.
And it wasn't working.
It wasn't
so
natural.
when it faded away, I didn't bother again.
And all that business about looking so youthful and young and being fit
I can't
as well.
look young.
No.
Let's get this right. I can't look young. I can maybe look youthful-ish.
How old are you?
I'm not going to tell you.
Can you?
No, of course, I'm 73.
You see.
If you have a gentleman here,
Yes.
you've got to...
With the glasses there in the front, Mr. O'Connor.
Mr. O'Connor?
From Killarney.
Give
He's
me a
100.
wave.
Yeah,
Where's Mr. O'Connor?
Could you give us a wave there, Michael? He's from
there you are,
Killarney.
yes.
He's 100.
Congratulations.
Oh, no better man to say that.
Mr. O'Connor, they asked me what I'd most like to do. I said I want to play tennis on my 100th birthday. So when were you 100?
Last month, 13th of October.
Yeah.
And you look as though you could play tennis.
I could, but I preferred to plant potatoes.
Fantastic. Oh, great.
You keep going.
I love this guy. I think I would prefer to play tennis, but I might well be planting potatoes.
Yeah, you might, yeah.
Ethan.
And what I admire about you, apart from your back catalogue, is also the fact that you have this thing where for a lot of people, artists who've been in the game for a fair old while, get a bit tired of singing their hits. You're quite happy to say, right, here's Living Doll, here's congratulations. You don't mind.
I don't mind, because in the end, when you go on tour, especially if you say you're artists that have been going a long time, we've had a lot of success with a lot of records.
Yeah.
There are certain records that are must-sings, you know, because they become people's memories. I mean, I've sung Living Doll more than I can't imagine how many times I've sung it. But you know, when I'm singing it and I see there's a couple sitting on the front row, and as I start, got myself crying, talking, I'll see him go like this.
Gotcha.
And I'm thinking, maybe they got engaged and she was his living doll. Maybe their first baby was their living doll.
Yeah.
And I've always found it a great privilege to think that we as artists become part of everybody's memories.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
part of memories.
I just thought you
would never
might
dream of leaving them out.
No, that's what I thought. You might just get tired as a person, let alone an artist, of singing
You know,
the same
you
thing.
may be tired of it, but the minute the crowd go, suddenly you're not tired anymore.
Yeah, it stops.
It's like when Living Doll, when it was first put forward that we should record it, it came from a movie, and we did not want to record it because we didn't like it at the time. It was done as a pseudo rock song.
Yes.
And when we read the contract, it said it must be a single. So it was Bruce Welch of the Shadows who got the guitar. He said, "Why don't we try it like this? Got myself a crying." So it was like a ballad, really. Then it went to #1, and suddenly we loved it.
Of course. There was love in the air.
When you do the old ones, it means that when you've got all the audiences, they love hearing those all. You settle them down, they feel relaxed with you.
Yes.
And then you slap them with a couple of new, and then go back to Summer Holiday, Bachelor Boy, and then slap them with another new one. You can still do the ones you want to do, but you need to keep them
Mix it up,
happy,
mix it up.
because they know you're singing songs just for them.
When you see like the big calendar now, you're in the top 3 of most sold calendars in the year. Just to go back to, because One Direction are right in there now, obviously. As
Well, they
as,
should be,
as
shouldn't they?
Yeah.
Only 50 years younger than me.
Well, you'd think. Do you know their music? Do you know them, or do you?
Yeah, I know some of their music, but not all of it.
Yeah.
I find it hard to keep up.
Yeah.
So when people ask me, have I heard of this band, and they may have started last year, I always say, well, I don't know. But ask me again in 4 years' time, and if they're still around, I would know them. We all know them.
But you're putting a test on them in a certain way. You're saying if they're good enough and they survive, I'll talk to them then. Is that
It's not a
it?
matter of being good enough. Most of the people that I hear on X Factor, they're all good. The losers are good. You mentioned One Direction.
Yeah.
All 5 of them lost X Factor.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
So it doesn't mean, I always say to people now, if you want to be a singer, don't be frightened of losing the odd battle. They lost that battle, but they won the war.
Yeah.
They're the biggest boy band in the world.
And then you see somebody like Miley Cyrus. You'd be aware of her
Yes.
comings and goings. And would you have any sympathy for her, or would you have a line on her? Or do you think she
Yes,
should?
I mean, I have sympathy for her. She's really, really young. She started as a child actress, and she's been doing nothing but that. My sister said to me that one of the toughest things was getting her children through the teenage years. All sorts of hormones kick in and everything happens. And Miley probably is almost certainly going through that. She's 19.
Yeah.
I can only hope. When you think of Justin Bieber and she, they're both together. When you think they're both quite a gifted couple. They can dance, they can sing, they can act, they look good. Why wouldn't we expect to see them in 50 years' time? The only thing is if they don't work at it and they don't want it. But otherwise, I think they'll be here.
Or if they go a bit off the
here.
rails.
They're good enough to be here.
Yeah. But when they go a bit off the rails, do you think that's?
Well, so many people have gone off the rails and come back.
Yeah.
I mean, if you come back, usually when you come back, you have a bigger audience. They have more. They love the fact that you fought something and got over it.
Just you mentioned your sister's children. Do you ever wish you had children of your own along the way?
I did in the early days, but now I don't.
Why? Why are you smiling so much?
When I fly around the world a lot, and there's probably a lot of you here have young children, and I see young couples come in and they've got backpacks and everything, and there's 3 kids screaming around the airport, and I'm thinking I couldn't control them. I would not be able to deal with it.
But you did in the early days think you'd like to have.
In the early days, I probably clattered them around the head and said, "Get it back on the bus."
Yeah.
But I don't think I could cope with it now. So the older I get, the less I feel the need. But don't forget, I've lived through my sister's children.
Yeah.
I've got, I don't know, maybe 8 great nieces and nephews.
Yeah.
And 11 nephews and nieces.
Also,
and,
there's time enough yet if you want to.
well, for men, you're
Yeah,
right.
it
For
is,
women,
it's
there's
different,
not.
yeah.
So if I find a 73-year-old woman that
It's easier for men, Cliff. There she is. I think that, little do we know where love stories start. The late lights out. It starts here. That's what they say. You know, we had an extraordinary woman on the show here not so long ago, Magella O'Donnell.
oh yes,
And
I saw a
I'm
clip.
sure the audience know what I'm talking about. Magella came on and she...
I saw a YouTube.
Did you?
Was she right here? Then,
Right
wasn't she?
here, and yeah, and she was in earlier on with you. You're friendly with
Yeah,
her.
she came. She came to the rehearsal and then came back to the hotel. We had a meal together.
She's in good form.
Oh, she's fantastic. Yeah, and when I saw that, you can't help but admire and love people that can take adversity and turn it into a triumph. I mean, and that's how we need to learn how to deal with things like that. So she joins the rank of people, as far as I'm concerned, who are publicly prepared to say, I've got this and I'm going to fight it.
Yeah.
And she raised 600,000.
Yeah,
In fact,
you're-
today she told me that does the Irish Cancer Charity?
The Irish Cancer Society, yes.
They have that Daffodil Day.
That's right.
And they had a really bad
The
year.
weather
this
was
year.
appalling, that's
Now,
right.
Now here's the interesting thing. They apparently, they didn't make, they lost 700,000 euros. And she comes along and makes 600,000. There's got to be a reason that covers the gap.
Yeah, yeah.
It's fantastic.
It's extraordinary.
Oh yeah, I love her dearly, and I have great admiration for her.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic that she would dare to do that in front of all of you.
To return back to you and your story, because you were live in a DVD, I should say, live in Sydney.
Yeah, yes, it's interesting. I did the Sydney concerts. I started rehearsing in January, so it's probably early February.
Yeah.
And I hadn't recorded the album. I was doing the album in April. But what I did was I sang 5 of the songs in the DVD, in the concert, which was now a DVD, just to test it out. So in a way, that it'll be interesting to see what fans think of how I did them live and how they compare with the
Well,
record.
you're coming to play Ireland next summer, but let's get a flavour of from the DVD just to show people what they can expect at such a concert. All right.
Thank you very much.
So the fabulous rock and roll songbook.
Yeah.
These personal favourite songs on the album.
Well, I think they made the right choice by releasing Rip It Up, because
Yeah.
it's such a up and vibrant sound and very party-ish and everything like that. But I've got a couple of... I love the version that we did of Sealed with a Kiss, the early Brian Hyland song, which is a fantastic ballad. And the one I think that I would... If I was going to choose a single, I probably would have made a mistake, but the one that I liked best was Such a Night.
Oh, Elvis.
Those of you that are of an age would remember that Johnny Ray sang it first, way back in mid-50s. Then Elvis did it mid-60s, and I wasn't sure how to do it. We changed the tempo a little and halved the riff they had, and I just loved the way it turned out.
Yeah, it's a great fun song.
But I'm not doing that tonight.
No, you're giving us a cracking tune now, which I'm looking forward to.
Bobby Darin's song.
Dream
Bobby
Lover.
Darin's Dream Lover. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, Bobby Darin. Would you like to hear Cliff Richard sing again? Cliff, it's been a pleasure. You're always welcome here.
Thank you
for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cliff Richard, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Good stuff, and as Cliff makes his way over to join the band, I can tell you that the new album, The Fabulous Rock and Roll Songbook, is out now, and fans may also be interested to know that the DVD Cliff Richard Live in Sydney is also on release. But now, to perform Dream Lover, would you welcome once more Sir Cliff Richard, ladies and gentlemen.